Hey guys, today I'm going to share a breakdown video of my latest release, Butterfly, which I've dropped on 1st of March and currently is streaming on all platforms across the world. And on top of that, I've also released a music video, which is basically a visualizer, and you can check it out. It's quite good. I'll share the link above it here and also in the description box. And if you haven't heard the track, you can check out the Spotify link. Uh, yeah, you can also choose Apple Music, Amazon, whichever is your favorite one from the links provided in the description box. So without wasting further time, let's move forward with the breakdown video. Here we go. So let's start by listening to the song for a few seconds. Okay. So I think you get the feel of the music and the vibe of the track, how it starts with a very slow pace and slowly it builds up with the piano roll and the bass, and obviously it's leading to a drop where you will be hearing something like this. Here it comes. So let's begin with the piano first. So let's see what effects I've used. So usually there's a chain that I follow, and for each and every track, obviously the chain changes a bit, but 70 to 80% of the effects remain the same, except for when I go for vocals. Uh, there's a lot more thing going on over there in the vocal sections, but as there is no vocal in this particular project, so we'll be not talking about vocals. Right now, let's start with the piano. So here I've used a high pass filter. Usually I go with the EQ. So let's check into the high pass filter what we have done. So I've cut off the frequency at 285 hertz. This is not an arbitrary figure, something not something random that has come out of my mind. It's just that I listen to the track. I listen to what kind. I select the frequency based on what kind of bass I'm looking for in this particular track. If I'm willing to cut off the entire bass, so I'll stick to something like in the range of 500, 400 in between. But if I'm willing to retain a little bit of bass, I'm totally cutting off the sub bass here to be clear. So if I'm willing to keep a little bit of bass in the piano and the mid section, the mid range should be quite there. So this is around something that I'm uh, keeping to maintain the sound. So let's hear it out. So you can hear that little mild bass is there in the notes. And also, out of the highs, I've used the low pass filter. So you can understand. High pass filters cut off the lows and low pass filters cut off the highs. So I use these filters on a regular basis, and it works for me. So for cutting off the highs, this is what the setting I've used in this particular piano roll. And moving forward, we have used compression. This is the default compression that we have in the GarageBand. So these are the settings of the compression. Will not dive deep into the settings why I have used them, because it will take a lot of time. So breaking down this video would become very difficult if we dive into compression. There are a lot more videos available on compression techniques, their usage, and their in-depth analysis. So we'll not go into that. So this is what the settings I have used here for the compressions. And lastly, I've used shimmer effects. Basically, this is the reverb, which I particularly prefer a lot. I like this one because there is a lot of option available here. You can tune it to your liking. There are a lot of presets available. So usually I go for presets and then customize them. In that way, I can have the best of both worlds. So this is the reverb. And lastly, the visual EQ that is provided in here for every track. I don't use this particular EQ because it's not that versatile. Yes, you can say that I can use this for cutting off the lows and highs, but the flexibility in high pass filter and low pass filter is more than what we have in the visual EQ. So anyways, we keep this turned off and we move on to the next instrument, right? So the next instrument is another piano. Uh, as you can see, we have used automation in this particular track for the volumes. It has been panned to the left, a little bit to the left. The effects we have used here, so we have not used any EQ. We have gone for compression, then we have gone for the reverb, and there is a stereo width EQ effects that is applied. So stereo lag is the stereo width effects. So basically, this is the interface that we use for stereo width. There is one more plugin which I use for this kind of application, but here we have used stereo lag time, and yeah, it works fine. The fundamental of using this, like moving this towards the left, is that the left will be 7.9 milliseconds delayed from the right one. So it works in that way. So anyways, this is the stereo width uh, plugin that we have used for this piano. And then we'll move on to the next piano. So here, if you see, this piano has been panned a little to the right. There is compression, there is reverb, no stereo width here, and the whole section now sounds like this. Okay, so adding to this piano roll, we'll move on the next line of instrument, that is the bass. And this is a third-party plugin, basically a AUV synth that I have used here, which is called Model D. Now in Model D, you will find a lot of sounds. I have a few sounds that I have selected for as my own favorites, and here I have used that bass. It's a very dynamic bass. I use it for almost all of my EDM tracks. For this one, not many effects has been used because inside the AUV synth, you have a lot of effects options. You can customize them accordingly. So I've only used the high pass filter here just to cut off a little bit on the bass, as the bass is very heavier here. So we didn't want it to be extravagant, so we have cut off a little bit on the lower side. I'll just give you a little peek into the synth, how it looks. So this is the interface of the synth. You can see there's a whole lot of options available here to tune the sounds to your liking, and don't get overwhelmed with this, because if you look closer, all the settings which are available here, you can find them somewhere in the inbuilt synths also in GarageBand, and you can also do your stuff, get the right kind of sound which you're looking for with those settings as well. And here these settings have been already predefined. That is for your own benefit. If you start tweaking them, you might achieve better quality sounds. No, there's no doubt in it. But sometimes I leave them as they are, because the sounds in default, they sound very good. So this was a small peek into the Model D synth. Let's move back to the original track. Now moving on to the next line of instrument, which is basically a short, sweet Flux. This is an inbuilt synth from Alchemy, GarageBand. Here we have used a few effects. So starting off with high pass filter, low pass filter, then I have applied a little bit of chorus, and followed by compression, and then closing with reverb. So here also you can check out that the custom settings of uh, presets, the presets have been applied, then a little bit I have to tune with the available settings. It's a very dynamic reverb. I really prefer using it for almost all my tracks. I also use zero reverb sometimes, but shimmer effects is one of my favorites. So then now we'll move on with the next one, which is also a bass, and it's an arpeggio bass basically. So here you can see the addition of a new effects that you haven't seen in any of the previous tracks, in any of the previous instrument tracks. So here we have used Flux Mini 2. Now, Flux Mini 2 is also one of my favorite plugins. I usually use it as an envelope. Sometimes I use it as like a sidechain effect. So starting off with the high pass filter, again, we have used a high pass filter here, obviously. Compression is actually switched off over here. It was not needed for particular for this track. And then we have used Flux Mini 2. Now we have got a lot of presets over here in Flux Mini. So we can use this preset. So like we have used the fake chain one. So basically these are side chains, and you can modify them according to your need. So these envelopes will open and close. Okay. So you can sync with the timing of your track. You can select that how much of the effect you need to actually go into the track. So the mix knob, the mix dial can be customized. So here I've used 55%. If you go full in, then the whole effect will be actually interpreted into the track, into the particular that arpeggio bass. So we have kept it like 55. It also has a very cool animation to it. So you can see here that the bass is being cut right over here when the first kick hits. Let's give you there is no kick here. Let's come here when the kick starts. So let's check out the beat along with the bass. Okay, so now that you already have checked out what Flux Mini 2 does, let's move on to the next instrument. Next we have a lead sound, so super saw. So quite an impactful sound. Now for this super saw Inferno, we haven't used any effects. If you go into the plugins and EQ section, we'll find that nothing has been used over here. So we'll deeply go into the super saw Inferno synth interface and we'll see what effects we have chosen over here. And we have a lot of setting options available right inside the synth, which is the Alchemy synth inside GarageBand. And there's a scope of achieving a lot with these available settings. So that's why I thought that we do not need to cut off any frequency or add any extra reverb to it. And for the same reason, no effects has been used or any plugins have been used here. So now let's move on to the next one. We'll skip this sword plug tabla. This particular line is not being used in the track. I've just kept it. But we'll move to the next tabla. So sword plug is a plugin which actually emulates the sound of tabla, which is a very Indian traditional instrument. It's a percussion instrument. If you haven't heard of it, let's play it for you. So I'll play both the this section where it's quite busy. So you get the idea. I hope you get the idea that how this instrument sounds. Now, if you combine this with a few other instruments, so let's go with a beat. Now, if you are using it with a beat and with this Super Saw Inferno, let's hear it out. So yeah, I think it gives a very touch of fusion to this track, which I've tried to achieve here, and does the job quite well and gives it a very unique flair. So let's see what plugins we have used for this tabla. So one track has been panned to the left and the other one has been panned to the right. So we'll stick with only one track to check what we have done. So we have started with the high pass filter and the settings are quite similar. We have gone for the low pass filter again to cut off the little bit of the highs on this tabla sound, and we have gone for a compression where we have actually gone for a gain reduction because the compression actually led to increase in the volume of the tabla. So a little bit of gain was reduced by minus 3 dB. So this is tabla sound, and then we'll go to the beats. For the beat, I have actually used a sample. As you can see, I'll show you the sample name. So it's the altered state beat 02. So it has been cropped and cut as per my need and then put into loop. Let's see any effects we have used. Yeah, we have used the compressor. The effect EQ was there by default, so we have not touched it. We have used a compressor, so nothing much to be used here because it's a sample. It's already at its top quality, top shape. So we don't want to interfere with those settings. Then we'll move on to the next one. So the next one is a lead sound. It's a 70s synth lead. It's a classic one from the GarageBand inbuilt instruments. So let's hear it out. Okay. So let's quickly dive into the plugin section. So here we have used the high pass filter. We have cut off the maximum lows possible. We have cut it off at 721 hertz. So you can imagine that how much bass has been totally cut off from this instrument. We were not looking for any bass at all from this one. We only needed the higher mids and the highs. Then we have used the Flux Mini also for the fake chain one, that is the side chain effect. The shimmer effects was not actually used. It was added here but not used because the synth already had a bit of a reverb to it, so adding extra reverb would have made the mix more muddy. So that's why we have skipped on that part. So next we'll go to another, sample that we have used. Basically, it's a riser for transitions. So here is a sound. This is also available in GarageBand samples pack, and the plugins we have used here is only PanFlow. PanFlow is a plugin for stereo spread and also for stereo panning. So here we have used it for stereo panning basically. So the sound moves from left to right, depending on which ear you're listening to right now. So let's hear it out. So you get that. And lastly, we have used Guang. Guang is one of my favorite instruments, as many of you might have guessed from my tracks, the regular ones which I make, and it is an Asian instrument. I really love the sound quality, and you can modulate the sound as per the touch interface that has been provided. Basically, what I do for this particular instrument, I do not use the keyboard. I use the touch interface to play it because by the touch you can do a lot of modulations which are available on the screen, and that's really creative. So let's hear it out. That really puts a smile on my face. Yeah. So let's check out the effects. Now here I have used zero reverb. See, this is the interface of zero reverb. It is also quite good in terms of reverb. You have a lot of options of damping, crossover, delay. You can extend the mid time or reduce the mid time. So I have put the mix to at around 40%. I didn't want too much of reverb into it. The right amount of reverb was at 39% of the mix, and here I get this kind of a reverb of this sound. So that's it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope it was insightful, and hope I was able to fulfill my friends' needs out there who requested me to share a breakdown video of this track. And if you need more, you can drop me your questions in the comment section. I'll try to answer them to my best possible means. And see you soon with another video. And yeah, keep making music.